everyone, Renee here. I've got a sunscreen favorites for you, but I'm going to be talking about the formulas that I turn to the most and trust the most during times of extreme exposure. Ones that I know will give me the highest protection. Rather than do a big, overwhelming review, I figured I'd focus on just the ones that I feel have some of the newer, more advanced filters that have come out, but also with some of the latest technology. These formulas go beyond just the SPF number. In fact, they have the latest technology in resistance to wear and tear. So making sure that there is an even layer and good coverage and water resistant, humidity resistant, sweat resistant, and friction resistant. All of these are cosmetically elegant because they have to be if I'm gonna use them, which means that there's far less of a tendency for a white cast, and they use mainly chemical UV filters. Plus, I'm sharing one of my favorite devices ever that really helps to ensure that we are getting the even sunscreen coverage that we need and throughout the day. Because if we don't have good sunscreen application, the formula doesn't even matter that much. Quick reminder, in your morning routine, make sure that you always include a good antioxidant serum. Antioxidant serums really help boost the protection of your sunscreen. So in all my morning routines, you've seen me apply the recommended dosage of sunscreen in 2 thinner layers rather than 1 larger globby one, because it's actually been proven to give better coverage that way. Totally makes sense. Not as much handling, quicker dry down, and also you can reinforce after the first layer, because patchiness in application can create other issues like uneven skin tone and whatnot. We don't want that. Something super cool that I've come across, definitely my favorite gadget of this year, is from L&L Skin. It is their UVMagic mirror. This is made in Japan. It's a Japanese brand, and it's really the coolest. It's like a dual function compact mirror with some serious tech. One side is a regular mirror with LED lights with 3 different brightness settings, but the other side is where all the magic is. This has a digital LCD mirror. Above that is a UV emitter camera, which plays your image in real-time live. So this is great to use during application just to make sure you get an even layer, or just to even check after you applied your sunscreen just to make sure everything is even. There's no patchiness, no spots that you missed. The other thing that I really love about this is that you can check throughout the day to see how your sunscreen coverage is. If it's really fading, if it's fading in certain areas, if you need to reapply or not. This is also where I can really tell what is long wearing, what really stays on. This can also be really good for removal. You can seriously check to see if you've properly gotten rid of all the sunscreen on your skin, so nothing's just like, you know, lying on your skin and congesting it. If you're really serious about your sun protection, then you will love this. La Roche-Posay Anthelios is what I've been trusting since the early 2000s. At that time, there only were the European formulas. To this day, the European formulas are still the ones I reach for. So their latest formula is their Mune 400 Invisible Fluid with an SPF of 50+. I have the regular and the tinted, and there are a few differences between the two other than the obvious. So this is upgraded from the Shaka Fluid and contains the new L'Oreal exclusive UV filter Moroxyl 400, which guards against ultra long UV rays. So this is an even more broad spectrum protection. This is a simple formula but contains 9 UV filters, which is more than most by double. On average, you would see like maybe 4. It's what they call ultra resistant to water, to sweat, and to sand, so friction. This has their net lock technology, which ensures higher protection in a much thinner, almost invisible, weightless layer. It's a bunch of micro drops grouped together to form a super resistant and non-migrating layer. The application of this is so fast absorbing. You apply it, it just kind of dries down, which means when you're applying it, you don't need to spend so much time rubbing it in. So this dries down quickly, and then it just does not budge. It does not migrate, which is why you can actually use this around your eye area, which I love. Chemical sunscreens are usually not a great experience close to the eye area. This is great for normal to oilier skin types, and also for the very hot and humid weather. You know, this kind of keeps everything dry to the touch. My skin is quite sensitive, and with some formulas that have a lot of alcohol can tend to cause stinging. But I think as far as boozy formulas go, There are some that are just better for sensitive skin types. This doesn't cause stinging for me. In fact, it doesn't even cause excessive dryness, although this wouldn't be my choice for the winter time. So the tinted version has a few differences, obviously. It has a very subtle skin tint. The skin tint isn't there to cover a white cast or anything like that. It's there just to give a healthier kind of glow or color to a ghostly pallor. On me, this completely shears out and just leaves a little tint of healthy color. I think if you have very pale skin, then this might come off as being too dark or obvious. This feels slightly more moisturizing, whereas the untinted is just completely weightless, feels so invisible. This has a little bit more of a glow, but also the iron oxides in this for the tint is really great, I think, for that extra hyperpigmentation protection. While the untinted has no fragrance, no scent, this has a slight, almost floral, jasmine tea-like scent, which actually I don't hate at all. A new upgraded formula from, no secret, what's been consistently one of my favorite sunscreen brands, Anessa's Perfect UV Sunscreen Skincare Milk with an SPF of 50 plus and a PA of 4 pluses. In my previous videos, I've always talked about the mild milk versions for sensitive skin, which is what I preferred at the time. But, you know, I really couldn't resist with this because it's quite exceptional. There's a lot of new technology in it. Anessa is under Shiseido, which very much like Anthelios and Roche-Posay, just has this long legacy of developing better sun protection. Their formulas just keep getting upgraded and really quite frequently to keep up with the new technology that they develop. So this is their latest, their 2022 version that came out earlier this year. And with Shiseido, their sunscreens have always been about their wet force technology. And for this is their upgraded Aqua Booster technology. Their main goal is to maintain for as long as possible the uniformity of the layer of sunscreen on our skin after we apply it, because that is what is important. There's an anti-humidity booster as well as an aqua booster, which gets activated once any kind of humidity, water, or sweat comes into contact with it to actually form an even stronger film of protection. So this is always what I reach for with outdoor activity or any time I know that I'm going to be outside and just even sweating. But this also takes into consideration mask wearing. So it really protects this area of our faces when we're wearing masks, because it gets there's a lot of humidity under there, you know, with breathing and talking and whatnot. The new thermal booster guards against excessive heat, but also is very resistant to friction, which also helps with mask wearing and just general, you know, daily, you know, anything. I love that these formulas have always combined the mineral sunscreen filters along with the chemical ones. It actually contains a good amount of zinc oxide, I believe around 10%, but it really shears out and blends out. So I've never had an issue with cast or anything like that. The Perfect UV milks have always had like the highest level of cosmetic elegance. This is as silky as ever, if not possibly even more silky. This has almost an immediate dry down. On me, there's even a slight blurring effect. It's that whole sort of perfect primer type of lightweight, almost invisible veil. It's consistently, since I first discovered and have been talking about Evie, which I believe is in 2018, I have not stopped using it. I mean, this has taken me through some extreme situations. These formulas have patented technology on their resistance to water, sweat, and friction, been used by athletes. The face mousse is beautiful on the skin. It leaves a really nice natural finish that works very well with makeup. So it acts as a nice primer. But my new favorite has been for possibly the last 2 years, the Kids Sunscreen Mousse 50. It feels lighter and it does also kind of grip makeup, and it works as a good primer as well. It's got everything that the face mousse does, but it just feels lighter. It's more dry touch. This is also the simplest formula they have. It's a vegan formula, so it doesn't contain collagen, which is in the face mousse. Great for even the most sensitive skin, you know, really some of the best protection around. I even apply this on my upper mobile lids and on my lips as well. I don't really have an issue, at least not with the children's and with the face. So no stinging or migration or, you know, anything like that. So whether you're swimming, drying your skin off with a towel, running outdoors, any kind of outdoors activities, this really stays put on your skin and, protects you. Some of the most intense sunshine that I've ever experienced have been in desert dry climates, not just during the summer when it's really hot, but also in cooler weather as well. So for those of you who are not interested in the Dry Touch formula, but you want something creamier, more emollient and moisturizing, I've really liked from Avene their Intense Protect SPF 50+. This is so comforting for dry skin when you apply it, but still leave your skin sufficiently moisturized for a pretty long time. It is safe to use around the eye area, although if you really have very, very sensitive eyes, do not go all in at once. This has no fragrance, no alcohol, great for very sensitive skin, and can be used on infants from 6 months old. In fact, it's often recommended to use on skin that has just gone through laser treatments or just gone through any kind of skin treatment that might leave it compromised. So this contains their latest exclusive UV filter called Triazorb, which protects against UVA and UVB as well as high energy visible light. Many of you with oilier skin who find this too heavy might enjoy their ultralight fluid more. I think the only thing with this, other than, you get spoiled with the size of this, but it also is very heavily fragranced. I don't mind fragrance, but this is not subtle. The other sunscreen that I love for dry skin, especially at times of intense exposure, if you're familiar with my sunscreen videos, you know, is Altruist. The original non-tinted one. The original one I still think is so fabulous for drier skin types and also gives great protection. It also features one of the later and newer, more advanced UV filters, Tinted A2B. So these are the sunscreens that have been on rotation this year for me that I've been using during times when I really need the highest level of protection. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And until next time, I'm wishing you great skin health. Bye.